Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the World Championship Series America. We have one more best of 5 to bring you for today's Challenger matches. The last Challenger match that will determine who from America gets to go to Premier League for Season 3.
Nate, I think this is a great way to end it, right? We started with Puck and Kane. It was an exciting series. We've had a great series overall, but now I think this is going to be exciting. We have Hitman, that notorious Hitman record.
I really want to see Hitman go for some absolute craziness. Like, that's what I'm here for, man. Anybody who's watched any NA stuff, if you haven't seen Hitman play before, I'll tell you what, he is an absolute monster. So far, if you guys have missed any of the Challenger matches, of course, VODs will be available on this channel, but just to run through again with you, we had victories yesterday and today by Masa, Jadon, Neeb, Kane, Polt, Violet, and now 2 Americans left to play. I actually don't know anything at all about Hitman, and to be perfectly honest, nobody does. So
that's an exciting thing. We don't know what we're expecting.
I almost want Hitman to win just so we can get him out here for round 32 so we can see him. Is he actually human? Maybe the reason why we don't know anything is because he's been playing from outer space, which would violate the rules.
There is a name on his profile, and I thought it might have been crossing a line if I searched it on Facebook.
I wouldn't do that.
No.
You'll find out it's like it's someone that's not actually been alive for like 100 years, something really weird.
He's stolen an identity just to compete in WCS.
Yes, exactly. We don't know anything about him. He is known for his very aggressive strategies on ladder. I've had the pleasure of I have been oracled into 3-gate Maximus Black all-in by him. That's just, I've faced that. I have been 1-base blink stalkered right now. I have been killed by Hitman pretty much every possible way a Protoss can kill a Terran without taking a natural expansion.
Yeah, I am looking forward to seeing. I think that's the great thing, right? We know Hitman's an elusive figure. We don't know who he is. And at the same time, I don't think anyone knows what the heck they expect from him.
Yeah, that's the best part. I'm hoping that he plays to his standard style. I'm hoping that we see Hitman come out and be cheesy, because that's what I want to see. Especially since I know Xenocider, the American punk who came out wearing an American robe flag, this guy, in round 32 of last season, when we did his player video, he did it with an American flag draped around him. This kid is American as it gets. In the bottom right, he is the American Evil Genius's Terran, Xenocider.
And starting us off in the last series of the day, it is the blue Protoss playing for himself, Hitman. You know what the best thing about today is, Nate? About this series in particular?
Tell me.
No matter what happens, an American's going through.
It's actually a really good point.
It's an amazing point.
That's a good point. We've got Canadians that have managed to come in. That's one of the. I felt the pride of the bald eagle climbing out of my chest when Neeb defeated Stardust. It was a magical feeling.
Was it like a xenomorph bald eagle?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Alien? The little thing, the chest burster?
Okay. I guess we were kind of talking about Hitman being from outer space. Well, Xenocider is actually going to cheese the cheeser as his way to start this series off with a very fast barracks placed outside of his base. He's just going to 11-11 him. This is one way to play StarCraft. He's like, Hitman's not going to scout me. I can just build these in the most obvious scouting path you would possibly go on.
Yeah, scouting is a skill for someone that's going to go for a second base maybe or wants to know what his opponent. Hitman just comes in here and he has a plan. He says, I know what I'm going to do. And look at that. We see 2 gases going down already before 15 supply.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something super crazy just yet. We don't know if he's going to fully saturate those gases. He doesn't have a probot on the map for anything like a proxy yet. We'll probably see him do that as he starts the cybernetics core, maybe right before he starts the cybernetics core. But Xenocider clearly showing he does not want to give Hitman a straight-up game on this map. I think this is one of those maps where someone like Hitman can be very successful with something like a 1 or 2 base blink stalker push. Clearly not proxying, but Xenocider is going to send the SCV in now. And he has to be thinking to himself, he's like, okay, what am I dealing with this game? It's nothing crazy. There's only 2 probes mining gas at the moment. This could be a pretty economic strategy from Hitman to start things off, and that will end up hurting him. Hitman starts a Zealot because he's worried about an engineering bay block. Xenocider really wants him to cancel that Zealot. If he cancels that Zealot, I think Xenocider can actually win, but it's very difficult to beat Protoss players if they open with that Zealot just because it makes getting the bunker down so much more difficult for 2 racks.
Right, I definitely like this, though. Oh, so the Zealot gets canceled.
You should start the bunker immediately. Like, as soon as he starts to push up, like, there's the Nexus. Now start the bunker as soon as you can. The longer Xenocider waits, the closer that Mothership Core gets to coming out and be getting ready for a Photon Overcharge. In order to win with the 2 racks against Protoss, the win condition is generally speaking to get 2 bunkers up. If you have 2 bunkers up and one of them is in range of the gateway of the Protoss, then you shut down their production and you can just kind of hold on forever. So this bunker that's being built right now, this one that's just started, is the most important structure in the game for Xenocider. He really needs that to finish. The probes are being pulled to try to stop this. Xenocider knows that Hitman can afford to lose a few probes. He really has to finish that bunker if he wants to win this game.
Absolutely, Nate. I love the hit. Xenocider, he waited. He had a few Marines. This Mothership Core needs to be careful. Doesn't want to get caught out by the Marines. And Xenocider pulled a lot of SUVs. He has to get the bunkers down, as you said.
The Stalker does finish. The gateway is not unpowered despite losing that pylon, but that second bunker, it's almost ready. The Mothership Core has been pushed out of position. Not enough energy, not even remotely close to enough energy for a Photon Overcharge. And with this bunker finishing, I think Xenocider's got this one in the bag now. He should be able to finish up the 3rd bunker. This is... You know, this was a classic Terran slice of cheese, and he has served it on a hot dish to Hitman.
Absolutely. Let's hope that, you know, he doesn't overcommit, he doesn't lose too much, doesn't stay too long out of these bunkers, but I think that, yeah,
he wants that Mothership Core. Oh, he gets it! I don't know how Hitman could possibly win now. These Stalkers, you know, they can't really out-micro the Marines in this bunker. If Xenocider targets just targets 1 Stalker at a time, no amount of micro is going to save Hitman in this position, especially once he loses that gateway. Without a Mothership Core, without Photon Overcharge, he just can't compete with the Terran forces that are on the map.
Yeah, and they're continuing.
And he's going to lose the gateway. No more Stalkers.
Yep, lots of supply moving across in Marines. Those Stalkers aren't going to be able to do anything. A ton of probes have gone down, and Xenocider has flipped the script on Hitman.
Yeah, that Hitman was supposed to be the one that was bringing out the chatter with either a proxy gateway or Stargate or whatnot. Hitman actually playing a little bit greedy this game and being punished in full force for it.
He was, and I just didn't expect the second Nexus to come down for Hitman.
I mean, a lot of people are blown away when Hitman builds the second Nexus.
Yeah, so, you know, the Marines are going to continue to come in. They're going to kill these probes. The Stalkers really aren't going to be able to do anything. Really, at this point, Xenocider could lose everything and still be in a great position.
Yeah, he's in a good spot. I mean, at this point, it's just you have the mule back home. You have so many more workers than your opponent. You're not worried about anything. Even if these bunkers all eventually do get cleaned up, he's still gotten more than what he wanted with this. And, you know, to be fair, what he wanted was to just outright win the game. And I do still believe he has. Like, Hitman is just... recovering from this is impossible. Like, he needs to make some sick, weird voodoo. I don't know if he has a voodoo doll of Xenocider. I don't know if that's illegal. Xenocider's not 18. If he just wants to, like, stab him with it, maybe that's his only chance. But I don't think voodoo is also allowed in official WCS rules. Hitman is in a really tough spot.
Voodoo sounds like a map hack IRL, right? But
yeah.
On the other side, we have another barracks coming down. Now Marauders are going to be soon in production as this tech lab finishes. So Marines, Marauders, what is Hitman gonna do? I don't think he's going to be able to do anything. Stim is also on the way. This is just going to be one base Terran. Not something you see too often against a Protoss.
The problem is Hitman doesn't have enough money that if he saturated his gases to try to go for like DTs or something, he actually wouldn't have the minerals to build a gateway, to get a Twilight, to get a Dark Shrine.
Right,
like,
he's trying to chrono out.
All he can do is sit back and just chrono probes and eventually work away at this bunker. And Xenocider is going to be like, okay, well, I've got 4 barracks. I'm not really worried anymore. I'm just maybe run these Marines over. If I get another Stalker kill, it's great. If I don't, well, it's still weakened, and he's gotten everything he could possibly want and more. Gets once. Oh, he gets this next one.
He does. All right, so there's one Stalker on the map, 2 about to come out, but again, these barracks are floating back.
I'm impressed that Hitman is still in this game. He has taken such a brutal beating. Like, Xenocider builds 1 bunker at the front of his natural. 2 Stalkers are never going to break it. He has Marauders on the way. You said it. He has Stim coming into, and Hitman is just beyond broke.
So Hitman has continued to chrono probes, right? Despite, you know, trying to distract the Marines and all that, he has chrono probes. We have another Mothership Core on the way. It's 17 to 21 workers. Now, Hitman has thrown a lot of minerals away. He's lost a lot, lost a gateway, had tech delayed. Now, what can he do to come back? Do you think he's going to go for, he's like, all right, fine, I'll play the games I normally play, and we're going to get cheesy?
I think he has to, or at the very least, he has to probe scout next game, because something like that is obviously inexcusable when you really think about it. Like, you losing in this scenario, the majority of Terran players, myself included, I don't think that 2-axing is a very solid strategy versus Protoss, but Xenocider calculated that Hitman wouldn't probe scout. If you don't probe scout, then it's actually possible to make it work. I mean, Xenocider's getting a bit brazen out on the map like this, but once the Stim is done, he's good.
Yeah, 2 Marauders, a couple more Marines coming up. Stim is about to finish. And, you know, those Stalkers, yeah, they can move away, but Hitman is not in as good a position as Xenocider.
No, he starts that Nexus up, but it's, that's not going to be the game winner. He should probably be forced to cancel. As soon as these Stalkers run over, I imagine Xenos can just stem and kill everything. And that's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, there you go, gets one. Oh, the Sentry does get a pretty decent force field. 2 Marines caught out, but this Nexus is going to get it canceled.
There's still no tech on the way for Hitman. Like, he must just be thinking about the next game. There's not to be done here. He starts a Twilight. So I'm imagining he's just gonna if Hitman is allowed to live for another couple minutes, he'll probably try to squeeze out a DT and just cross his fingers and hope that Xenocider falls asleep at his computer right now. But that's highly unlikely to happen.
No, don't think it's gonna happen. I think Xenocider is actually on a rush right now, getting into this first game with such a nice tempo.
Yeah, I mean, right now, if I was Xenocider, I'm basically just sitting there like, I am happiest kid alive. Like, you're just sitting there, you're like, okay, well, I've won this game already. I'm just, my opponent's taken a while to die. But me losing this is borderline impossible. Like, Xenocider to lose this game I would be impressed. He is just in such a good position from the way that he got all that damage done at the start, the way he executed his 2 racks. You really couldn't ask for more as a Terran, especially as a cheesy Terran. And Hitman's going to go into Blink. Okay, so he's going to try 3-gate Blink.
Yeah, well, you can't Blink if you don't have Stalkers, Nate.
Yeah, that is very true, Lycan. As expert analysis, I completely agree.
Yeah, so the Mothership Core, it was killed last time, so it doesn't have the energy for a Photon Overcharge this time. And
he's dropping
Mule is getting dropped.
I think Xenocider has lost enough ladder points to Hitman to tell himself that this is justified. He is okay with this. He's just like, why are you still in this game? The Mothership Core is still alive. He pulls the probes to fight against this.
Yeah, probes are good against a Marauder.
In a weird sort of way, I guess. He's not even sending the mules home. He's content to leave the mules here. He's like, I don't actually want your money. I just don't want you to have your money. That's
I
like
wish you
pure
could make
evil.
your mules drop the money.
Imagine if you robbed somebody and then you just burned their wallet in front of them. You didn't even take the money. That's just evil.
Because I can.
Well, Xenocider doesn't. He's like, I don't need these minerals.
I just don't get why Hitman is continuing to go for an expansion. Try something crazy. Get a starport out. Start building Void Rays or something crazy like that. But the expansion?
He can't afford anything. I don't know. He's just hoping that at some point Xenocider will do something crazy like rush to battle cruisers and open up a window, which isn't going to happen.
I think he could rush to battle cruisers and be pretty okay.
I guess so. From this position, I think we could swap you in for him, and he'd still be able to win this game, Lycan.
WCS Premier League Lycan. Yeah, I like the sound of that.
Mothership Core is going to die. GG is called. Xenocider takes game 1 against Hitman after a pretty brutal start to that series. Hitman, I'm not sure if that's like if Hitman normally does that. I guess I haven't beaten Hitman in like over a year, so yeah, I don't know. I guess he just maybe Hitman's actually nervous.
Yeah, well, let's look at the perspectives of 2 players. First of all, Hitman has a reputation. Everyone knows what Hitman is going to be bringing to the table. So Hitman's thinking, okay, hey, let's go macro. It's going to, catch him off guard. On the other hand, Xenocider, when's the last time you saw a Terran 2 racks of Protoss? It's been a long time.
It's pretty rare. It's pretty rare. If a Protoss finishes that Zealot, it helps so much with keeping that bunker from going up. And, everything about that, it's not like, oh, one Zealot. It's like, just, Zealots aren't OP, guys. No. But it's being able to push the Terran back just for a little bit that allows your Stalker to get a couple more shots in. That allows your Mothership Core to get a couple more shots in. It makes you maybe your probes can mine a bit longer before they have to be pulled, and all of those things make holding a 2 racks much easier because Xenocider has to pull SCVs to make a 2 racks work like that. So it comes down to these very small details, and even stuff like Hitman, just if he had gone for a 12 supply gateway or an 11 supply gateway or a 10 supply gateway, whatever he builds comes out so much faster.
Yeah, he would have been in a really good position. Now we're going to move on to Coda, another 2-player map. This is a position where Hitman could be like, all right, I'm going to pull out the guns I'm used to, and Xenocider probably going to be expecting it.
Yeah, I imagine that Xenocider is going to try to play still a bit cheeky. Coda is a pretty good mine drop map, in my opinion, and Xenocider is like me if I wasn't terrible. He likes his cheesy builds too. He likes to do mine drops as well. And that's actually one of the builds I've had more success with against Hitman. I wouldn't be surprised to see him do something aggressive. I don't think Xenocider is just going to completely let up because Hitman's builds are so good at killing anybody who plays standard, especially standard builds just fall apart to the way that Hitman usually plays StarCraft.
One of the craziest things is that Hitman is always at the top of GM ladder, right? So that means that everyone who's played him knows exactly what he's going to go for, and he still wins games. He still has a very high win rate. So
Yeah,
he's going to be great at executing.
He's a monster, really. He is that guy. You see him on the loading screen, you're just like, oh boy, what's it going to be this game? Like, the last time I played Hitman was maybe like 2-3 weeks ago on this map, and I got proxy stargated in 3-gate Void Ray Bus, and like I saw it coming, and there was still nothing I could do because he just controlled his army in such a weird way. It reminded me of there was like a Kespa match recently. I think it was Classic versus Maru maybe, where like it happened on like Cactus Valley, and it's like it seemed like the Terran, or maybe it might have been Flash, or it seemed like the Terran had everything that they needed to defend, and the Protoss still made it work. That's what this guy does. Like, he will find a way to kill you off of one base or with some sort of other aggressive cheese. But he didn't try it in the first game, and he's down 0-1 for it in the top left position of Coda. He's Hitman.
And in the bottom right, he's up 1-0. Give it up for EG's Xenocider. I think Hitman is a pretty accurate name, you know, just with the style he plays. I wonder if he went into the game thinking, oh, this is how I'm going to play. I like the aggression. You know, Hitman, he's the guy that comes in, 86s you, and gets out. The end.
Yeah, that's the impression you get when you see Hitman. You know, if you had to think about like StarCraft play styles versus personality, Hitman would be the guy that you would send in to just take a dude out. I can totally see that. In Xenocider, it might be the guy that you send in to torture somebody.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that 2 racks was torture, especially for a Protoss. He had to be thinking, why did I cancel the Zealot?
Yeah, I didn't even know Xenocider was a 2 racks here, to be honest. This actually changes my perspective on him. I'm going to have a talk with him, perhaps an intervention. He's one of my... I actually like talking to Xenocider about builds a lot because he does mix it up to a good degree. He's not going for a very fast gas play this game, though. It's just going to be barracks into gas, which means we will see a Reaper. It's very important that Xenocider does all of the normal things. SCV scouting, then scouting all over the place with the Reaper, not getting caught off guard by proxies. Hitman is going to probe scout this game. He's not taking any chances. I like this from Hitman because it says, all right, I realize that if I want to win this, I need to make sure I'm not abusable in any way. And it's also good because he can see that it's not a gas first build. Xenocider will do something crazy if you play against him enough. He is not the most bland standard player. Actually took his gas a little bit later than I realized. It's going to be 2 Marines, probably into a quick reactor Hellion play. So he's already doing something really weird.
Hellion's pretty crazy to see against Protoss. There's something that can do a lot of damage, but if they're scouted, they will get shut down pretty easily, especially if there are enough gateway units to be ready. But he is going for them pretty quickly. Looking at the Protoss side of the map, nothing really crazy going on. Cybernetics Core, he has the Zealot again, kind of worried about that engineering bay block, and that just might come down.
Yeah, I don't think Xenocider's going to do it because it would delay his factory too much, but he wants to have the SCV here, and he's inspired some fear in the heart of Hitman. Like, if Hitman finishes that Zealot, then it's a big victory for Xenocider because there's the factory, and maybe it won't be... Yeah, there's no quick quick reactor, actually. There, he does actually end up eBay blocking. Oh, but he did cancel the Zealot. Oh, that's...
Second time in a row,
that is
Zealot.
some high-level Jimmy rustling right there on the part of Xenocider. He knew, he like must have thought it out in his head. He's like, this is when Hitman usually would cancel a Zealot. I don't see a Zealot here. I think he canceled it. And Hitman must have been thinking to himself, it's so late. There's no way he's going to engineer may block me. And Xenocider?
I imagine Xenocider and Hitman have played each other on the ladder enough that Xenocider just went through all his replays and probably got these little finer details to figure out how Hitman has been playing.
You know, there's so much money in the line. We talk about stuff like WCS points and, you know, getting to the Premier League, but what does it really mean for these guys who have no chance, right, of going to the global finals? You know, it's a $1,500 increase in how much money you're making. You're Xenocider. You're a high schooler. You are more than happy to take a couple extra $1,000 for winning some StarCraft games. And Hitman, this might actually be like one of his biggest paydays, if not his biggest payday already, just getting into Challenger.
Yeah.
Especially this year, with Challenger giving out so much more money.
Yeah, especially imagine if you make it to Premier League, right? You get to travel possibly to Europe. I mean, for a kid these age, I mean, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's actually really awesome. Getting to see the world is always nice. Just another side benefit, of course, of competing in the WCS system, to some extent at least.
We see a Robo coming down. We do see the Hellion, so Robo is definitely good if you wanted to get an Immortal out, something like that. He's not going to have to worry about Widow Mine drops. He'll also have the option of detection if Xeno were to go for that.
I like this a lot. This is actually, it's funny because I mentioned the gas first, but he's still doing the same thing that we do off of gas first. He's just taking a slightly different way of getting there by getting the barracks before the gas. It doesn't necessarily delay it too much, but it makes the build look different, and looking different is enough to sometimes confuse an opponent, because normally to defend something like this, you want to get exactly what Hitman's getting anyway. So I am slightly worried. It's going to come down to control from Xenocider, because 3 Stalkers and an Observer should be enough to completely deflect this attack with the help of a Mothership Core.
Well, Xeno likes drops, and he's actually very, very good at them. And we see a little, unique positioning here, taking advantage of what he can. And I like the way he's coming in on this. Yeah, the Stalkers are getting some good hits, but it's pushing the Protoss back.
Yeah, I mean, Xenocider is doing, for all intents and purposes, this is the opener that we both really, really like a lot. It's, even if it's not at a gas first, there's so much you can do with this. He's zoning out that ramp with that Widow Mine. And a couple of these Stalkers are actually so low. Stalkers don't really have the damage output necessary to kill Marines that are like in the process of being healed. Like the heal per second is greater than the damage per second of a Stalker, or almost even 2 Stalkers against a single Marine.
Yeah, Immortal coming out. Twilight Council just now coming down. And, not too bad for either player. Hitman didn't lose a lot. Xenocider didn't lose a lot. Lost a Hellion and a Marine.
Yeah, things I'm looking at right now mostly are workers killed. Hitman is still in a really good place as far as workers go, mostly because the biggest downside of a build like this is that Hitman has been producing off of 2 Nexite for quite a while. Xenocider, despite any damage he may have done, his orbital on his natural is not yet finished, so he's only been able to build 1 worker at a time for quite a while, and it's not ideal. It's not ideal. And there we go. There's Blink on the way. So I expect Hitman to still follow this up with a really big aggressive play.
Yeah, definitely. And we look at Xenocider. He's keeping that drop on the back, trying to keep, a little bit of threat there. There he goes. He's pushing in, going to try to get a few more pro kills. He is going to get a few off of the Stalkers. Are going to prevent the medevac from getting out, so he's going to sacrifice these Marines, try to get as many kills as he can. Will he get another? No. 3 pro kills go down, and Hitman doesn't overreact with the Photon Overcharge.
No, Hitman's playing a very, very cautious game, actually. He's going to go into a Robo Bay. Hitman's actually just playing super standard in this series so far. There's actually nothing really aggressive or cheesy about anything that he's done, to be perfectly honest with you. He could drop double Forge after he starts his first Colossus and just play out the most super, super standard, because this is just defensive Blink. The only thing that hurts him is that he had to build the Immortal, which most of the time you'd rather not, since it just slows everything else down, because your Photon Overcharge usually defends your base for you.
Right. So we see Hitman. He's on his 2 bases. He has Blink halfway done. The Robo Bay is almost done. He's going to start the Colossi production. Stim isn't even done for Xenocider, not even halfway done. But he does have his upgrades, Combat Shield and +1 attack on the way. Double Marauder production.
This is really weird, though. I'm just surprised to see Hitman playing like this. It's a very it's not like it's bad. It's actually quite good, but it's just not
It's not what you'd expect from Hitman.
It's not what you expect from Hitman. Xenocider is pushing across the map. Stim halfway complete. I'm waiting to see if we're going to get Forges. Yeah, double Forge. Okay, so yeah, this is... Hitman is actually just playing super, super straight up Protoss versus Terran.
There are players that have done that in the past. Stardust had a reputation for being cheesy, so he went out and he won a couple tournaments, completely macro, trying to prove that, hey, I'm not just a cheesy player. Asus Rogue, I believe, was one of those that he played in a pretty standard style, so maybe that's what Hitman's coming to do.
Perhaps. That's kind of cool. I mean, for someone that we know so little about, if he can actually play a straight-up game and win, especially against Xenocider, that would be pretty impressive. Xenocider is no chump, to say the least. He was in the round of 32 last season and still put up some really good games. I'm very, very interested to actually just observe and watch this game, just as from the perspective of someone that's only known Hitman as the aggressor.
Yeah, 3rd base coming down for Xenocider. There is no second starport, just a lot of Marauder production, so we're probably going to see that Maru style against these Colossi. There is 1 Colossi on the map. The second one is on the way. And, I mean, there are force fields. There is Blink. There is a Photon Overcharge. I really don't think Xeno can do too much.
Yeah, this is... still, as a very defensive posturing. He's being very active with these Stalkers, which is risky to say the least, but he can also always just sit back and try to defend drops. If Xenocider, because I'm thinking about, when's the last time I saw Xenocider play TvP? I think he played a match against Puck in some tournament, and he was all over the place with big drops. And wow, Hitman getting very aggressive now, moving out with that Colossus. Now that range is done, maybe he just goes for a really big 1-1 2-base Colossus push.
Yeah, there are players that have been really known to do that. Lilbo has a nice Blink Colossus all in that he's done. I believe that's off of +1. And now we see Xenocider trying to go for a drop, multi-pronged drop actually. Oh, nope, that is just
he's just going to take a 3rd.
Yep.
Okay, so Hitman is playing this as straight up as humanly possible. He's going to rebuild that Observer. His army was in position to catch the drop because his Observer saw those 4 medevacs load up, and Xenocider was like, well, don't want to deal with that. This Marine's looking to check the third base, but the Stalker actually ends up catching it. Another drop loads up and actually flies right past an Observer inside of Xenocider's base, so really good Observer placement, actually, I have to say, for Hitman. He's been very aware of everything that's gone on so far in this game.
Yeah, map vision critical, especially when shutting down these drops. There is that Observer that could, if Xenocider knew about it, just a nice little scan and a snipe to remove that map vision. But now we do see that Xenocider is going for a drop on Hitman's third, and this gives Xenocider a good chance to pull the armies apart.
Yeah, this is actually a really elegant dance between the two of them, because one of them doesn't want to overcommit to defending on one side, the other one wants to shut down the expansions, and the Stalkers are not here to actually protect these Colossi. One of them does get knocked down, the second one very low, but Hitman is cleaning up most of Xenocider's forces and not even allowing those Widow Mines to detonate. He loses 1 Colossus, but kills most of the Terran Bio Ball and has that third base secured.
Yeah, so he's got those double upgrades that were coming down. Zealot legs are on the way, and the third Nexus is just about to finish. Yeah, he didn't get it. +2 attack is on the way for Terran, +2 armor as well. Continuing to pump out Colossus, though, for Hitman. I think Hitman took the better engagement. Those force fields traded for 1 Colossi, but a large chunk of that Bio Ball.
I'm surprised that Hitman is... The order that he's doing things is a bit interesting to me, because I'm surprised he didn't go off the double forward straight into 2-2. Charge Zealots, at least a +2 armor, are really good. But if Xenocider has an upgrade advantage, then no number of Zealots is going to help you against a Terran player. Okay, now the 2-2 starts. A bit late.
Yeah, so once again, he's going to try to collapse on these Colossi. They're not defended by the Blink Stalkers. No Blink Stalkers there to help them. So 2 Colossi possibly go down, maybe 3, and here come the Stalkers.
Oh, he cannot afford to lose these Colossi. Both of them very low, trying to chase. Oh my goodness, he actually keeps both of them alive with no health.
Kills all that Bio. The Bio is gone. The medevacs have blown away. One gets picked off.
I actually can't believe that just happened.
But how useful now are those Colossi going to be with no health and no armor?
I mean, if you can keep them away from the Terran, I think that's still quite useful. Please get an Observer over here to take care of those mines. Okay, I was really worried for a moment.
All right, so he gets those mines, because, yeah, that would have been a one-shot on both those Colossi.
I think if he loses both those Colossi, this game is over, to be frank. But now that he's continued to bullshit that Colossus count and get 2-2, this is still manageable, but Xenocider is still, playing a reasonable game himself. But, Hitman being ahead on supply says a lot. Protoss is generally supposed to be behind. If those 2 Colossi certainly would have put him behind.
Now there is Viking production 2 at a time coming out for Xenocider. So those 2 at a time, especially with those weakened Colossi, if he focuses those ones down, they're going to go down really fast.
The funny thing about that is, if you have enough Vikings, usually you're just one-shotting the Colossi anyway when they're at full health. Otherwise, you don't want to attack the Protoss. So if he gets a lot of Vikings, then it almost doesn't even matter, because it's just overkill on the already dead Colossi. Like, all that matters is the Colossi get a couple shots off as those Viking missiles fly towards them. And now he has 4 Colossi, so Hitman is caught out of position, though. His third base is totally exposed.
Yeah, so he's going to take a lot of damage. A lot of probes going to go down, the cannons, the pylons. He's going to recall, actually, into this and try to take it out, but the Nexus might still fall. It is going to fall, but there's all this Bio. A blink, it was wasted to get on top of the Bio.
He didn't get the full medevacs, actually. Only hit empty ones, unfortunately.
Yeah, so a little preemptive with the blink. Had he done a little earlier, he might have had a little more success cleaning that up.
And now Hitman is on 5 Colossi. I think this, if anything's going to trigger him to attack, this will be it, as he picks up a few more of these medevacs, or at least tries to. Very aggressive with these Stalkers. He's not afraid to run into his opponent at all.
Oh, good move by Hitman.
Yeah, dodging those Widow Mine shots. Now the Vikings are going to focus on those weakened Colossi, like you said. But still, like that, they still got a couple shots off, and now there's still 2 full health ones that are really going to push their way through here. A lot of Xenocider's army is on the left side of the map. He's pulling his SCVs to try to defend against this.
Yep, but the Vikings go down. The Colossi are going to get stand up. The force field's doing a great job, and the Marauders taking shots from the Immortals.
The Immortal, going to work. Now Hitman's going to get surrounded on all sides, but he has done a tremendous amount of damage. Another Colossus actually shows up to help out here, shaving away all these SCVs. The biggest question right now is, can Hitman recover from any possible counterattack? He still has a good amount of Stalkers. He loses the Mothership Core. 1 Viking. Actually, 1 Colossus does fall. A couple other Zealot, big warp in. Needs to keep his Colossi alive so much.
Oh, he does. Great control from Hitman. He keeps the Colossi alive. The Blink Stalkers are there, and I think that Hitman has a really good chance. There is a Ghost out.
I mean, Hitman actually annihilated the economy of his opponent. He's got his 3-3 on the way, but keep in mind, even though that army supply is so low, Even though the supply in general is low for Xenocider, Hitman has a lot of extra probes, so Xenocider can still try to make something happen, but that was exactly the attack that Hitman needed, and I think if he's just given a little bit more time, he's going to be in a phenomenal position to close this game out.
Needs to protect that Colossi. He does have sentries to help force field. He's going to be able to zone out some of these. Zealots coming in, taking out the Marauders.
This is actually just great. This is actually just fantastic for Hitman. He catches the rest of the medevacs on the way out. It's like, yeah, EMP that.
Excellent position.
Boy.
And so I think that Hitman is finally taking just such a solid lead. Yeah, it's only 50 to 45 supply, but 67 to 27 workers in favor of Hitman. I think the Protoss player is just about ready to close this game out.
Yeah, I think Hitman can push now. Like, Xenocider is trying to rebuild a lot of the medevacs that he lost. He doesn't have any Vikings on the map. There's still, with 3 Colossi, like, how is he ever supposed to stop Hitman from just taking this 4th base? I don't even mind that Hitman sits back and takes this 4th. Xeno has a 4th command center in the bottom left. But, I mean, there's some Zealots being sent there to harass it. It is not a planetary, so it actually could get quite a bit of work done on it.
Yeah, we're seeing some really good play. Hitman not only just showing that he can play defensive, that he can play smart, but now he's, doing a little bit of aggression. He's keeping on top. I really
like how active he is with his Stalkers. Most Protoss players do not just throw their Stalkers forward like that in scenarios where he knows he can win. Most Protoss probably don't even realize that they can win in those scenarios. When they do win in those scenarios, it's actually really cool to watch.
These observers are absolute money, showing what Xenocider wants to do, where he's trying to go with his medevacs.
He's aware of the medevac location every step of the way. Like, this is actually really nice, the way he spread the observers out. He just knows, and he has these Zealots at the 4th base in the bottom left. He's going to force the army over, and then look, as he forces the army over, he brings his main army towards the natural again, because he knows he has to bring a good amount of Marines and Marauders to actually kill those 3 speed Zealots.
Yeah, that Ghost is going to go down without ever getting an EMP off, so these shields are just fine. Everyone's going to come up. They're going to have a little party in the Terran base.
Yeah, there's no Vikings, so what is he supposed to do? He knows that most of the army was lifted over to his base, but he actually left a substantial chunk of forces behind at that 3rd to help defend against this. He was already prepared. There's Zealots here. There's an Archon. He's going to continue to warp in. He has those 3/3 upgrades with the charge, and that should be enough for him to actually defend with just constant warp-ins. As he starts to knock out Xenocider's production, he's got Zealots in Xenocider's 3rd base. He's got Zealots moving in towards the main base. He's completely swept up the natural. He's just going to keep pushing. There's feedbacks on the medevacs, and just, keep pushing those Zealots out. And there's a recall to finish things off.
Yep, Hitman proving that he doesn't just play cheesy. In fact, 2 games in a row, we saw him not trying to go for anything crazy. GG is called. Hitman ties up the series with a macro game.
Probably one of the most solid Protoss versus Terran games I've actually seen in a very long time. Yeah, that's actually really cool.
Straightforward.
Most TvP I cast, it's like, okay, well, Terran players are going to go for some massive drops. Slowly picks the Protoss apart. It's like, okay, well, meh. Or the Protoss does something cheesy. Hitman did absolutely nothing that felt abusive or even like super aggressive in that game. He was just all over the place with defending with his observers and moving his Stalkers around. Even the one time he got caught out of position, he was still able to recover nicely with the medevacs that he picked off.
I think that Hitman knew Xenocider liked the drop play, and he was definitely on top of that. He kept Stalkers in the main to defend against drops. He had his 3rd base covered. I think that Hitman came into this very well prepared.
Yeah, it was actually really, really nice just to see a Protoss pick a Terran apart like that. Like, Xenocider really just trying to drive the aggression and Hitman not having any of it. It was a very, very interesting series to be watching, completely outside of what I was expecting.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm glad we're not ending on, just a cliche note. It's not a stomp, and it's not what we expect from either player, actually. Both first game, we saw the cheese from Xeno instead of Hitman. Second game, I think the best part about Hitman is that you saw a plan, and he just kept trucking forward.
Yeah, because that's kind of, it's weird, because you think about game number 1, how it ended so poorly with the 2 racks from Xenocider. And then it's like, well, Hitman just kept trying to force this, expand, and then get a robo and go for blink. And I'm like, okay. All right. I'm like, okay, maybe he's just going to try to do like 1 base blink all in or 2 base blink all in. But it seems to me that his intentions, like, he just kept trying to force his plan, which I imagine that in the first game, if he was allowed to live long enough, he would have actually gone robo, or he would have gone for that blink into a robo, into Colossi, and then double forge, despite the fact that he lost like all his probes at the start of the game.
Yeah, next map, I believe we're moving on to his Cactus Valley.
Yep.
And I wonder if this will be the map where we see the Hitman we're expecting.
I don't know what to expect anymore, man. We are loaded in. We are here. It is tied 1 apiece. After this guy is the only one to have actually cheesed or even opened aggressively in this series. In the bottom right position as the red Terran player is EG Xenocider.
And in the top left, impressing everyone with his ability to play macro and beat Xenocider, it is the blue Protoss, Hitman.
Hitman, such an enigma.
But we will learn the enigma if he wins this.
That would be interesting. I would like to just meet this guy. I would just love to meet this guy.
I think there's a lot of people who would like to meet this guy.
That is also probably true. I don't know.
In a dark alley somewhere in New York City with a pipe.
He has certainly been the cause of a lot of rage, I'd imagine. I'm sure there are many, it's like, because it's never just the person that's super greedy or cheesy on ladder that causes all the rage about it. Hitman is like that guy that inspires other Protosses to do it. Because all you need is like a dozen or so Master League Protosses to look at the Grandmaster ladder and they're like, that Hitman guy's always #1. None of his games go past 10 minutes. I can do that. And then you have a bunch of Zergs and Terrans who hate themselves because they play these guys that are learning from this, learning from Hitman. But now Hitman's showing that he can win with macro too, and that's equally scary because you can't just blindly prepare for, something crazy.
Well, when people tell the story about how Protoss can get to GM with X build, Hitman is the reason they tell that story, because Hitman got Grandmaster in Wings of Liberty with almost only 4 gating. So
yeah.
That's really what he became famous for.
Yeah, I'm sure that Hitman probably has an account for each build that Protoss can do off one base. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a Proxy Oracle and a 3-gate Void Ray that he has used to get to GM every single matchup too. Like he's just that good at being aggressive and controlling those small aggressive armies.
3-gate Void Ray. That's one heck of a build.
Yeah, that's a nightmare-inducing build.
Yeah, so we saw a command center first coming down for Xenocider. The barracks is on the way. This is a nice map to open up if you're going to go for economy. So both players seem to be going that economic route. There is a probe out on the map. There's still that room, though, for Hitman to decide, hey, guess what? This is where Dark Templar or Proxy Oracle, something like that's coming out.
Yeah, I would expect this to be like just a regular probe scout. I'm no longer anticipating Hitman to play cheesy. Like, he has enough gas to go for a quick Stargate. Maybe this is where he mixes it up at last. But it could just be a Mothership Core as well. Yeah, just
that's
a
what it is.
Okay, well,
all right.
Could have been a quick Stargate. It's not.
Nope, doesn't need to do that. He's a strong, independent Hitman that don't need no cheese.
Yeah, that is a statement I would like to continue to proliferate among Protoss players. You guys do not need to attack me off one base. Please stop.
Yeah, why don't you go home and expand? And we see the blink is going to be coming down pretty quickly.
Yeah, but this could still be that defensive blink again. Like that. Like the thing, it's really funny. Like giving like a real serious analytical note to the way people play StarCraft around the world. There are people. Like when you play, if I'm playing on Korean server and I see someone open Twilight Council and they expanded, I'm rarely thinking that it's like any type of aggressive play. And I guess since Hitman hasn't actually taken a Nexus, this should be aggressive. But most of the time when you see that Twilight Council, you're thinking, okay, it's probably something defensive because you're playing on Korea. They're usually going to follow it up with some standard play. On NA server, it almost always means some sort of crazy all-in.
But we get a scan from Xenocider, and he does see the blink and
Hitman is going to bring that all-in types play into fruition here. So we are finally going to see a little bit of his classic form. Let's find out how good his blink micro is.
Yeah, how is this map for blink?
Honestly, I have not actually played versus many one-base blink all-ins on this map. There's not a lot of space that you can use to blink into the main from the outside, which is one of the reasons why I'm surprised that Hitman's doing it. But if there's one thing I know about this guy, it's that he definitely cheeses people enough that he has considered every possible scenario that can pop up from him doing this.
I think in a lot of ways, too, what he can do is he can force an overreaction out of Xenocider. He's going to build bunkers. He's going to build units, right? He's going to sacrifice everything he can in economy to get as many units out that he's going to be safe, right? And on the other end, I mean, Hitman could just soft contain. He could go for an expansion. He could be safe on his back end. Blink is a great opener, especially, against things like Widowmine drops, right? You want that defensive blink, something that can move quick. So really, it's very versatile, and if he can get enough done here, he can move back and go into that macro game.
Yeah, it's games like this, though, where it's like, when you're looking at someone like Hitman who commits so much to aggression, is he gets this really nice tower for actually grabbing a few Marines. When you have a guy like Hitman who commits to so much aggression, it actually makes me think more about MC versus Thorzane on like Akalon Wastes in WCS Europe like a year or two ago, where he actually just literally massed units outside of his base.
He needs to be careful. That Mothership core is very low.
Like, it's possible that Hitman actually just never stops warping in out in front of his base and just keeps shaving away enough units that Xenocider is just locked in on one base forever.
Yeah, 1v1. I feel that Protoss in the early game can definitely mass the kind of units that can really hurt a Terran who's locked on one base.
Yeah, it is so tricky because Xenocider really still just wants to sprint up to stand, and there's that blink into the main base. This is the problem, though. I don't think there's not a lot of space to actually blink away here. He's going to kill the Marauders and then blink and dance around, and Hitman has done this to me before. This is actually my experience in my games against him, is that he just runs around like this. He's actually quite good at just endlessly running in circles, baiting you all over the place all day, nonstop, and it makes life really, really difficult for a Terran player when you're trying to deal with this, because he's killed off so many SCVs and all the power units are gone too.
Yep, so we're looking at Stalkers. They are surrounded. They are killing SCVs. 15 workers have gone down. That is a lot. The Marines are there. They're trying to chase it, and there are still 5 Stalkers left. Hitman has the option to warp in. He does actually have a few more Stalkers. He does have a sentry, so there is a lot of opportunity for Hitman to keep continuing to be aggressive. He has a Mothership Core that did not die. It does have the energy for another time warp. So Hitman is in a great position. I'm really excited to see how he continues to move forward with this. And I never thought I'd say I was excited for a Protoss to be using cheese, but look at me, here I go. And he is blinking taking so many workers and Marines down.
This is what we were waiting to see, right? I mean, the Mothership Core dies again, but Hitman is just so good at running a circuit around Xenocider's base.
Yep.
Just killing everything.
Blink good unit, and as we see the Stalkers just dancing around, 11 more SCVs have gone down, 12. That number is going to continue to rise, and on the back end, I believe that Hitman is really open to doing whatever he wants.
How can one man be so good at killing somebody off one base? This is exactly what happened. I thought I was so clever. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to build some bunkers. I'm like, this will be fine. If he blinks past my base, I'll just pull my SCVs. Nope, doesn't work. He's Hitman. GG. Well,
nope, we got what we expected.
We asked for it, and it hit us like a truck. Unfortunately, it hit Xenocider also like a truck. So Hitman now finds himself up 2-1 in this best of 5, and I'm wondering if he just cranks that dial a little bit further for game number 4.
Yep, we're going on to Dash and Terminal.
Okay, if there's a map where you've got some crazy Protoss, words I can't say, this is the map. This is it. Like
shenanigans.
Shenanigans. If you have some crazy Protoss shenanigans, this has to be the map to do it, because you have that access to blink into the main base from by the gold. You have a ton of airspace for anything like oracles or void rays or tempests. You have that wide open natural expansion as well. You can blink that from 6 different ways. I'm actually, this is like the map that's going to make people veto Dash and Terminal for the next 2 weeks.
Yep, Hitman coming here. Maybe he's playing macro because he doesn't want to show off his new cheeses, right? Doesn't want the ladder to learn en masse what's going on. But no, he's going onto this map. It's a map that something awesome could happen.
Perhaps Hitman was being considered in the first 2 games, because I'm sure there are a bunch of Protoss players watching. You know who you are. I know who you are. You make me hate my life. You're all going to start blink-all-inning for another week. And
it's not balance line. It's just something that Terrans don't like to deal with.
No, that's how meta works, though. If he wins with this, then Hitman wins with strategies like this. It encourages other people to try them, because everyone likes winning, and I can't fault you for that. I like mind dropping, because all I see are Koreans beat people with widow mines.
I mean, there's no better feeling than a big clump of probes that just.
Yeah. But if it didn't work, then we wouldn't try. So.
No, not at all.
Anyway, we are going to be playing on Dash and Terminal. We're loaded in. I'm just curious to see, because I think Xenocider could also turn it up too. I think we could also see our Terran player here really crank out something crazy. I wouldn't mind some gas first madness. In the top left position of Dash and Terminal, we have that red Terran from EG. He's Xenocider.
Quite a handsome command center.
Yeah, his opponent in the bottom right, the blue Protoss, the Cheese Master himself, Hitman. I do want to give a shout out to Flo for observing all of the Challenger matches that you guys have witnessed this week, as this could be the last game we cast together, Lycan.
Yeah, I know. I hope it isn't. I hope there's many more. But no, yeah, Flo doing a great job. And I've never actually casted with an observer observing for me, so she's done awesome. Yeah,
Flo makes our jobs easy peasy. Hitman, though, 10 supply gateway.
10 supply gateway and denying Reapers from coming up that wall.
This is pretty much what we were talking about. We can talk about Hitman openings. This is the kind of build that allows Hitman to get a very fast Zealot if he wants, a very fast Cybernetics core for a Stalker if he wants, a very fast Cybernetics core for a Mothership core. Mothership cores can actually just outright win you the game on this map if you rally it straight across off 10 gateway and the Terran player opens Reaper.
Yep, so that very much could be what he does. Now, something a Terran can do is build a quick bunker, right? It's only 75 minerals once you sacrifice it. It's not a big investment, but if you have a Mothership core coming into your base, you want that bunker and you want a couple Marines in it.
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting. I hope Xenocider actually opens with Marines because this map gets vetoed so much, and Xenocider might actually have it vetoed on ladder. But for any of you who don't know, against a standard 12 barracks, 12 gas, Reaper expand, if you go 10 supply gateway, mothership core, and you just rally to the Terran base, you can get there before they have enough Marines, and then you just win because they have no production.
That's why you need that bunker.
Yeah. It's not like an IMBA thing, but as a Terran player, you should also be very mindful of this when you're SCV scouting. It also is a reason why you should SCV scout, and if you see something like this, build a fast bunker. Of course, Hitman has many other options available to him. This could still be an in-base Stargate, could be an in-base Twilight. There's many things that this could be. I just happen to believe that the mothership core is like the easiest bop to get if that's what you go for. But he's actually not chronoing out that mothership core. It is going to be a quick Stargate, and he doesn't mind that this SCV is here and could actually go see it.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is the first close by air spawn in a long time, Nate. And I think Hitman is deciding that he's going to take advantage of it, not with the mothership core, but he's going to be pumping out some oracles, or maybe we're going to see that 3-gate Void Ray follow-up.
That's exactly what I'm expecting to see. I would be surprised if we had anything else other than an oracle or two into a very heavy Void Ray push. Could even be one of those like madness builds, like 5 oracle or something really insane. This Reaper, though, as that Stalker really wanted to get out onto the map, this Reaper's actually be able to be quite annoying. Every probe kill is really big in a situation like this when the Protoss is cutting so many corners to get aggression out.
Yep, a lot of it is about timing, getting things out when you want them to have them out, and that probe is something that needs to be replaced so you can keep the economy and pump things out.
Yep, we have the Chrono going into that Oracle as it is on the way, but Xenocider has a missile turret coming in. And this is where things get really interesting, because most of the time when the Protoss player is being aggressive like this, you want to have the Stalker out on the map, because the Stalker allows you to put frontal pressure. You want to pull the Marines away from that turret, because if the Marines aren't by the turret and that Oracle goes in and kills the Marines, then the 3-gate follow-up insta-wins you the game. And on the other hand, we also have to keep in mind that if the Terran player doesn't move their Marines, then the Stalker can also just delay things like the command center and just be annoying in general.
Yeah, I'm not feeling too good for Hitman on this map. He's got the turrets ready, Xenocider has the Marines, and a command center coming down, so I feel that Xenocider's in a good position.
Oh,
now, Oracle goes down.
Picking off that Oracle is really big, especially since Hitman built a second Oracle, and if Hitman builds a third, if he goes full madness with this build order, then I'm really concerned. Yeah, he's going to start another Oracle. Losing that first one really hurts because, you know, when you have 2 Oracles, you're obviously going to one-shot the Marines. But if you're going to go for a gateway follow-up, you need as many Oracles as possible, because once you have like 4 or 5 Oracles, 4 Oracles I think is like the magic number, you can just walk in and just click on the missile turret. You can kill it. You can out-DPS the SCVs that are repairing it.
And then still have a lot of damage left to do some damage to the SCVs.
Look what's on the production tab.
That looks like more gateways. So we are getting 4-gate, actually.
Yeah, he is no Void Rays, so it's not full Maximus Black style. But this reminds me of a player that I've run into on NA quite a few times, goes by the handle Oracle King. And I think, you know, very fitting. He opens up with lots of Oracles, and then he kills you with them.
That is the goal of the Oracle.
Yeah, every game I've played versus him, he opens with 5, 6 Oracles, and then eventually goes up to like 20 Oracles. He actually just doesn't stop building them.
So this is where the Void Rays would definitely come into handy, as Xenocider is going to bunker down and fortify himself. I'm
imagining that he doesn't want to get Void Rays because he's anticipating that his Stalkers will kill enough that the SCVs get pulled. And if you pull SCVs against Oracles, you just lose. Now that I think about it, this is actually one of the ways that I've lost to Hitman on ladder. Is he gets into like this really weird spot, like runs by your bunker, and then you pull SCVs. He's like, oh, he ran by the bunker, I can pull SCVs. And then Hitman's like, no. And then he just kills you.
Well, there are 2 Widow Mines, there are 2 bunkers, and a missile turret.
Yeah, I don't think he can run past this. Oh, okay, is he aware of that second mine? That's a really big deal. This defense is really nice, but keep in mind that Hitman can actually walk around the side of this still, too. Like, he doesn't actually have to attack from this angle to hit the natural. You can go from the north of the natural. You could also break down the rocks.
Yeah, and Xenocider, he's sending out a drop. What does he have in that drop that he's going to try to deal on the back end? Perhaps a mine or a couple more Marines. There we go. Okay, both mines have been taken down.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind either. I mean, Hitman is getting ready to try to crack this one open right now, and this is still a really, really tense situation, as Xenocider knows that if he defends this attack, you know, it's not over yet. Hitman's the one that if he wins this game, he moves on to Premier. And this is still really, really crazy.
Yeah, so that Viking zoning out the Oracles, not letting them get any damage done, and he didn't bring the Stalkers with him. Now there's the medevac completely empty, actually.
Maybe he was just using it to scout the gold, I'm not sure. Hitman's going to move in on top of this base, force fields away that bunker, steps in, gets the kill. He's using the Oracles as well. They're eating a lot of missile turret shots, but he out DPSs the SCVs repairing, and this is exactly what he was trying to do. Now if he could get that Viking, loses the Oracle. Really, really big deal. That Oracle had so much energy on it, but without a bunker, I mean, he's going to lose. He's going to have to forfeit the natural expansion. I don't know if he can actually come down and defend this. His second Viking comes over. Maybe he lands them. He has the medevac there to try to pick up wounded Marines.
Yeah, but he's just letting the Vikings sit there idly, not doing anything. Now he finally lands them. Could have repaired them while they were fighting, but he's bled out 7 SCVs to that and taken down a lot of damage with the bunkers and the missile turrets.
I still think that Xenocider is in an okay spot because he has that second command center. He's ahead on SCVs, and slowly but surely, units like medevacs are going to give you so much more longevity. Now he's coming up actually towards where this pylon is, and I think biggest loss would be this medevac. He actually does pick it off. That's a really big deal. He could actually go for the Vikings too. Those Vikings a bit more expensive than the Marines, and they can't go inside the bunkers.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. There is no blink, and there is a Widow Mine.
Oh, boy. So Hitman is actually starting to really make something of this scenario in this game. Imagine if he kills that Viking and this missile turret. He has another Oracle in production, and Xenocider has to respect that possibility of either dealing with an Oracle or a Void Ray, since they're just so good at bursting down these buildings.
Yeah, I think at this point I would have gone for the Void Ray. It's definitely a lot of extra damage against the armor, and with the Viking, with the bunkers continuing to pop up, that's a lot of that prismatic alignment would have been great to have.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, the Viking went out towards Hitman's base, and that means it's not at home to defend against this Oracle. Oh boy, baited out the Widow Mine with his Zealot. Does kill both of the mines, actually kills this bunker, and this is actually a really crucial moment right now. Where is the Oracle? Is it going to come in here and try to help kill these Marines?
No, he's just sitting back. It's like, you guys need me? No, I don't need you. All right.
I mean, he could use it for detection, but okay, now he showed the Oracle. Maybe he just used it to kill this mine. I think killing the mine with it would be ideal.
Or losing your army to the mine.
Run past it. The splash damage can actually kill like 2 Stalkers.
Oh, it does.
Okay, now the Oracle comes in. It's going to try to focus on the Marines, and the SCVs get pulled too. Zealots are on top of said Marines, and that Oracle really not doing what I believe Hitman was hoping it would, as Xenocider still just turtling in on one base.
Yeah, so he's continuing to produce units. There's the Viking back there trying to look for something else coming from Hitman. Would have been great to have it there to defend, but again, the Oracle didn't get a chance to do too much.
That Widow Mine is MVP right now. MVP status for Hitman, and like, look at that target. It's a target, another 2 kills.
Yeah, so that is not a good position for a Hitman to be in, producing all this off one base while Xenocider still does have 2 bases. If he can get out of here, he does have the economy to finish off the game.
Yeah, I think Hitman actually has this, has to give up now. Like, Xenocider has this one in the bag. He's going to warp in a few more Zealots here. Another Oracle is going to come over, but he drops on top of this army because he knows, like, this army is just so weak. He can't stand up to Marines and Marauders. Not like this.
No. Yeah, the Widow Mine would have been good. Maybe not focus it down, but let it do a little splash damage on the bio. That might have been nice. There's a very low medevac. Another Oracle comes over, and it's actually doing quite a bit of damage, but there are too many Marauders for these Stalkers.
Hitman got very close to breaking Xenocider, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough. I don't mind Phoenix as a way to deal with the Widow Mines, because the Phoenix can soak up 1 mine shot, but I think it's just a little too late. The biggest issue is that he didn't kill the natural command center Xenocider, so no matter how many workers he kills, can always take that expansion as soon as it's possible, whereas now Hitman builds a Nexus. He's, he can't actually stop Xenocider if he just marches across the map.
No, 35 to 23 workers, a Nexus that isn't even done, 36 to 10 army supply, and now we have a drop that is going to go over, and it's probably going to clean up Xenocider. Xenocider is going to go clean up Hitman.
Well, this has already been a very exciting series, to say the least. I'm very interested to know what's going to happen in the next game, because I really feel like Hitman's going to have a borderline impossible task of stopping this, as the drops do hit for Xenocider. His stim very close to completing as well. The natural's going to get canceled. There's no detection with the Widow Mines. GG gets called, and Xeno ties things up 2-2 here. What an explosive series to finish up Challenger for WCS America.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. So we are now tied up 2-2. Hitman coming into his stride, getting us the games that we expected to have from him. Xenocider, not backing down. There were a lot of times during that game where I thought Xenocider was done.
Yeah, I think so. It really came down, in my opinion, to losing that Oracle. Once he broke the bunker and that Viking got that last hit, like if he'd killed that Viking or just pulled the Oracle back earlier, I think that Oracle alone can be a game saver. Kill the Widow Mine that killed like 3, 4 stalkers because he got 2 double kills on him. Yeah, so that Widowmine was a real champ. There were a lot of little things here and there that could have helped Hitman just a bit, but it also comes down, Xenocider had to make some really clutch decision making in terms of getting his SCVs in repair, and it's a scary position because I've been in that spot where you're like, oh, I've got 2 bunkers, 2 mines, 2 missile turrets. There's no way a Protoss can kill me on 1 base. The famous last words of many Terran players before they surrender their ladder points.
Absolutely, but Xenocider showed that he is a formidable opponent, that he is not going to back down to some silly Protoss cheese. And, I mean, actually, Hitman's cheese isn't silly. It's something to be reckoned with.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. Most of your opponents on ladder won't be Xenocider, so feel free to bust that out and collect Terran tiers. It's a very strong way to crush a Terran player if you're the kind of guy that doesn't like to build Nexi.
Yeah, no, Nexi, that's less money for units.
That's true. It's very true. So the last map of this series, the last map of the day, will be Iron Fortress. I have also had the pleasure of getting wrecked on this map, especially by Hitman. And there is this would be like a decent Void Ray map. I don't know how exactly he wants to play it out. We could see him bust out another standard game. But this map will decide which one of these 2 players goes to Premier League for Season 3 of the World Championship Series.
I think maybe Warp Prism Dark Templar. There's a lot of open in that main base for him to fly around. There are a lot of ways to multi-prong attack.
I don't know if he likes to play, and maybe he just knows that one standard style and all of his cheese builds on top of it. Because that one standard style could be like, this is my I'm not cheesing you build that I can use to get a 1-up on you.
Mm-hmm.
But still, this series has just really questioned how I look at life in StarCraft,
Well, watch Hitman after this. He turns the tide and he goes on to ladder and only plays straight up, and everyone loses because they play overly defensive.
That would probably make a lot of sense.
He's got to protect his ladder points.
Actually, in order for Hitman to properly practice his standard game, he probably had to make a Smurf just because people wouldn't give him regular games normally.
Yeah, so anyway, we are getting into the next game. This is the final game for WCS North America Challenger for Season 3 in 2015. Spawning in the top right corner, it is EG Xenocider.
We just tied the series up 2-2 against this gentleman in the southeast of Iron Fortress. He is Hitman. Don't know if he's on a team anymore, but he does represent all your worst nightmares and fears when you play versus Protoss on the ladder.
Yeah, Hitman, extremely, extremely exciting player to play against. Exciting for us to watch. And I feel that Hitman, could really pull out anything. I expect everything from this guy.
Yeah, that's what makes him such a dangerous player. When you can do cheeses like he's done as well as he has done them, but at the same time flip back onto a really, really solid macro game, like there's not really much more you can ask. And those have always and very consistently been the marks of top-tier Protoss players, being able to always get inside the heads of their Terran opponents, bait them and trick them and get around inside their minds and all that other voodoo magic. But Hitman, so far this game, does not open up with 12 supply, a 10 supply gateway. He gets 13 supply, much more standard setup from the Protoss player to kick things off here.
Yeah, so I do believe Hitman is, in fact, teamless. So I wonder what he's thinking. He's sitting here, he's, getting ready to go into WCS Premier. 1 game away. Do you think teams are looking for a player like Hitman?
I honestly have no idea. I mean, I'm all for hardworking American players that the scene doesn't give enough credit to, getting opportunities to compete outside. But I was always under the impression that Hitman didn't want to. As far as I'm aware, this is one of the very few seasons where Hitman has actually tried to qualify for WCS, and I haven't followed Hitman's progress in them because I rarely see his name in tournament brackets for things like this. But I wouldn't be surprised if someone told me this was only the first or second time he actually attempted to qualify for the World Championship Series, and for whatever reason, it seemed that it was always something like he just wasn't interested, or there's like a reason why he's so secretive. Like he just keeps to himself. Maybe a very shy guy in real life.
And look at this, Nate. We are going to see another expansion.
Yeah, another quick Nexus build from Hitman. This could still go into something crazy like a two base blink, but I'm getting a feeling it's gonna be macro now. But I guess to answer your question, it really comes down to what Hitman wants, because he's the kind of guy that has the skill in NA that if he showed up and competed in a bunch of stuff, because he didn't show up to play in like any offline tournaments either, like IEM Toronto, for example.
Yeah, no, haven't seen a lot of Hitman. Really actually don't know if I've ever seen him in any of the online tournaments that I've watched. I believe you are correct, though, that this is one of the only times he's attempted to qualify for WCS. I know earlier in in HOTS and in Wings of Liberty. He wasn't, in early in HOTS, he wasn't playing. In Wings of Liberty, he just didn't care to try.
Yeah, it wasn't really his prerogative, to say the least. And like I said, he hasn't shown up at any offline events. I haven't seen him at anything like MLGs or anything along those lines over the course of, as the years have gone by.
Well, he could have shown up and just not competed, and you wouldn't know because you don't know what he looks like.
Wow, that's actually really scary now.
Right.
Now that I think about
it. Around. In the shadows, you don't know it's a Hitman, but it is a Hitman.
Well, he's going to go for that Twilight Council on 2 bases again. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's defensive blink once more. Xenocider, though, he's going for that 2-base mine drop style. And if it was an aggressive blink from Hitman, he would actually be in a kind of weird place because you usually don't get a robotics facility with that sort of opening. And I would still proffer that once he starts blink, he needs to get to that robo really quickly. Otherwise, a mine drop could be really, really successful against him.
Yeah, mine drop's not something that Protoss like to deal with. Yeah, it can get in and kill a lot of probes, and at the very least, it's going to force you to put in tech you didn't want to get into, and delays mining. So,
yeah. And the biggest thing is, if you're a kind of guy that likes to be aggressive like Hitman, it makes it very tough, since you always have to pull back and defend. I've only ever actually taken one map off of Hitman, and it was with a mine drop because he went blink and didn't have detection. I was actually asked Xenocider for advice. I was like, how do I beat Hitman? He's like, well, he's probably not going to get any tech. He's just going to try to cheese you with one thing, and it probably won't be a robo.
Yeah, well, we have the tech coming down now. There are some Marines coming to possibly do a push. In fact, yes, they are, and they might catch a Stalker out of position. There's a Widow Mine also behind it. It's just pushing straight forward.
Yeah, he's going to try to burrow this Widow Mine right up on top of the probes, and it will be denied from burrowing. Really nice. He does lose one Stalker. Oh, my goodness. Actually, some of the probes that get pulled forward. Hits one of them at least. Yeah, but these Marines also do scouting work, too.
Yeah, 2 Stalkers going to get killed. A nice little block there, but the Marines are going to be able to see what tech. They see the blink is getting chronoed, and there is a robo and 2 more gates.
Yep, so if he clicked on it, he would know, okay, for sure, it is a robo. It's not going to be any type of cheese, but Xenocider actually starts to bunker anyway. He is a little bit concerned about having to deal with just some 3-gate pressure off of blink Stalkers. And at the same time, there's that medevac drop to try to get some Widow Mines in place. But all the Stalkers are more than in position now.
Yeah, Stalkers in position and the detection tech on the way. So Hitman, very good position. There's the Mothership Core also with the Photon Overcharge. It's going to be great. Here we go. Boost in. Widow Mine is going to get to plant. Hitman doesn't see it. He does see it now, and 3 probes are going to be sacrificed.
That's actually quite good. He comes in to chase on the medevac, so the Observer is on top of the mine, but not able to kill it just yet. And the Marines are looking to target fire down any probes that they can get. Not actually too much. I actually really like Hitman's position in this game. Xenocider has not gotten too much for what he's wanted. Nope. Hitman's in a position where he could actually counterattack with a lot of Stalkers and potentially win this game.
And that's exactly what he's going to do. Hitman likes to position himself. He's moving his Stalkers out on the map. He doesn't have
Stim has only just started.
Oh, that is not a good position for any Terran to be in, especially against an aggressive blink. He has no barracks on the high ground, and he really doesn't have any Marauders, does he?
Nope. 2 are on the way right now, but those will be his first 2. He just jumps straight into the main. He's like, yeah. He's like, forget that bunker. He's like, I know you don't have anything here. Immediately targets down these Marauders. Not enough to one-shot them, but still enough to do a lot of damage. And he's going to do that. He's going to give him the runaround again, Lycan.
Yep, the blink dance. Oh, man, and he has to chase him. This Widow Mine's going to try to plant, going to expect where he's going to be. Hitman doesn't see it, so there's very well the chance he's going to blink on top of it. 1 Stalker goes down. Not too terrible. 9 SCVs have gone down.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a lot of work on this mineral line, and he goes to the natural. These Marines trying to shoot from above as well, but he's just killing tons and tons of SCVs. 16, 18 of them have been worked away at. And in the meantime, he's getting 1-1 on his forges. He's getting a robotics bay to move into Colossi. Like, Hitman, this will cost him a lot of Stalkers, but at 25 SCVs to 48 probes, he's actually got a lot going for him behind all this, and he's gonna run away with a few of these.
He's gonna get 1 more SCV kill. 23 SCVs total went down in that engagement. That was a great decision from Hitman to do that counterattack. That wasn't enough.
That was amazing. Like, now Hitman is in such a good spot. Look, he just drops a cannon in each of his mineral lines. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna worry about mines. I can just take a 3rd base. And with Colossi already on the way, there's nothing I really need to worry about. And these Stalkers are still just putting on pressure.
Yeah, still putting the pressure on Xenocider to the point where he's...
Oh, wow. Xeno attacked his own mine. Oh. He actually helped him kill it.
Man, that is not a good thing to do. What can Xenocider do? Can he come back? Does he have to mass bunkers and just try to get some drops in?
Xenocider, I think he may have bitten off more than he could chew with that early aggression. And I'm currently trying to think about what my first words to Hitman will be when I see him in real life for the first time. He's not BM. He's just really cheesy. This is This is pretty exciting.
I don't like you, but I respect you.
Yeah. Hitman's in a pretty good position right now, looking at his chances to get into Premier for the first time for WCS to come and play offline. This is a really rough spot to be in for Xenocider. He's behind on workers, he's behind on army, and frankly, he's behind on tech because there's no Vikings to deal with this Colossus.
Yeah, so this Bioforce, he does have 4 Marauders, Stim, and a Medevac, but that's really not going to do anything. There were some...
Look at this. He jumps up, snaps that medevac, doesn't lose any stalkers. Like, he just recognizes these little opportunities to just jump forward and be crazy aggressive.
I love Hitman style, especially with these stalkers. You know, bringing the stalkers back to get just a couple more worker kills, knowing that he was just so far ahead that any worker he got was gravy, despite losing all those stalkers. So just the decision-making is really awesome.
Yeah, Hitman is playing a phenomenal series here, especially off the back of some standard, you could say, play, but he's just able to make, a build that's normally very, very safe, very defensive, works so well once he had the opportunity to counterattack against Xenocider. And now Xeno is forced to, really Xenocider's biggest opportunity to win this game, his only chance is to get some big drop in, snipe a Nexus, get out without losing any bio, and then do that drop again when the base is rebuilt while simultaneously hitting with a second army somewhere else.
Yeah, Xenocider, he's going for a really, really far drop, and that's the smart thing to do because if you look, Hitman has excellent observer spread.
Yeah, one of the things that he's done really well so far in this series is not be caught off guard by things coming towards his base. His observers are watching 2 very common exits outside the Terran base, and then of course one by that watchtower.
Yeah, but he's keeping guard of his third base. I don't really see anything getting done, so now he's going to try to go into the main.
There's no reason to move his Colossi away. He doesn't need the anti-air as much because the Vikings weren't really that big of a deal, but he also has all his Colossi together with the Photon Overcharge, and then all the Stalkers are in the natural. So if you try to drop on top of that, he's going to crush that too. It said he's going to try to swing all the way around to the main base. So Xenocider played the long con. This could be his opportunity.
Yeah, he's going to get in here. He could possibly get a lot of probe kills, but he's hesitating. He might try to go for the third instead.
I mean, a pylon will see him. He's positioning himself. He wants to force the army over towards the natural and then see if he can hit that third base.
Look at all those stalkers, Nate, and all those Colossi that would have collapsed on that Bioforce. There he goes. He's going to drop in. He's going to kill this. All these gateways are going to get canceled. He needs to get in there and do some economic damage, not focus on nothing.
Yeah, I mean, here he is. There is an army outside the base that wants to go to the third base once he actually takes this step forward. But oh my goodness, blows everything up!
Full medevac goes down to the blank. Excellent control.
The Colossi are here too to defend this base.
I wouldn't mind. Oh, might get a nice.
Just a zealot. Just a single zealot killed.
Sentries could have gone down, but they didn't.
Hitman has taken phenomenal trades in this game.
Yeah, still ahead. 61 to 49 workers. Army supplies are about equal, but Hitman is charging forward, especially on upgrades too.
I mean, Xenocider at this point, he's a 2-base Terran against a 3-base Protoss. There is no universe where I spin that the Terran is in a good spot. Xenocider needs to make a big play. He tried with those 3 medevacs. He lost 2 medevacs worth of units and got nothing for it. Now, 2 more medevacs into the main base. Look at all these stalkers. Boom, 1 medevac down, 2 medevacs down. He'll trade a few stalkers. He's got enough money. He doesn't care.
Yeah, force fields on the other side, cleaning up some of those Marauders. There's just a small Bioforce that has a snowball's chance in hell of doing anything at this base. Yeah, he's getting a few probe kills, but here comes more stalkers. The extended thermal lance doing a great job.
Hitman, the Enigma, looking to go to Premier League. He has shut down every single push Xenocider has brought his way. He has shut down every single drop. He has shut down everything. And in the games where he has played Standard, he has been able to find himself in a comfortable enough spot to actually win and go to Premier for the first time. This is amazing.
Yep.
I mean, he's going to force one more fight, and after that, we will have the epic counterattack to end all series of counterattacks.
Nate, you know what I really like about this series is that no one is going to be able to come away from this and say Hitman won just because he cheesed. Hitman proved that he's a very versatile player and did an excellent job.
Yeah, he had a perfect variety of builds, We had a couple of one-base strategies that he used insane micro and decision-making for, and then these games where he just basically battered back the Terran, and he didn't even do anything, cheeky, There was no, DT drops. No, Hitman, he scouted, he had observers everywhere, and even in the few times he got caught off guard, he came back, just guns blazing.
Yep, there are those Archons morphing in after taking away all the healing power. And look at the friendly fire killing all of those medevacs with the final shot from the photon cannon, trying to do something at the third. But these guys...
Yeah, Hitman's just going to kill him. Hitman's going to end it right here, right now. Hitman is going to Premier League for the World Championship Series, and one of his first times ever actually trying to get there. This is pretty sick.
Yep.
I'm really, really impressed, really blown away. GG is called. And Hitman is going to Premier.
Hitman is going to Premier off the back of an excellent best of 5, going all the way to Game 5. Yes.
I don't really have words for this.
Nope.
That was a really well played series by Hitman.
That was incredible. I'm definitely glad that was the series that we ended off.
Yeah, that was... I don't know what to tell you guys. I thought Hitman was going to come in and cheese every single game, and he played some really amazing macro. I'm very excited to see how he... I'm very excited to meet this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he gets drawn into an America group so I can actually meet him. I just need to know, because I won't even be sure if I see him on like the European studio cameras, like if it's like a hallucination or something. Really, really exciting times as we do have a new American player qualifying for Premier for Season 3. Great games today.
Excellent games today. A lot of good people going through. Really happy to be here.
Yeah, this has been a really, really awesome couple of days. We went through quite a few best of 5s to determine who the 7 players advancing from the North American region would be to WCS Season 3 Premier. If you missed any of the action yesterday, Masa, Jadong, and Neeb all qualified. And today we had Kane, Polt, Violet, and Hitman. Only 2 players that qualified through the open brackets that we had running over the last few weeks. Only 2 players actually managed to make it to Premier. Neeb and Hitman, 2 Protosses. Feel free to whine. It was, but both played so well, and they had to take it to the limit in Game 5 to win both of those matches.
Yeah, even as a Terran, I'm excited to see them. New blood is new blood. It's really good to see them in Premier League.
Yeah, especially as a Terran watching Neeb. Will he convince me to also switch races? Who knows? Who knows? But that was absolutely amazing. I'm really happy to have been here. Glad to have had you here, likened to Cass. Hopefully, you had a good time.
Excellent time. Glad to be here, Nate.
Yeah. So it's been a great couple days of games. I believe European Challengers starts in about a week or so.
On the 27th.
All right. 27th at 5 p.m. CEST. You guys will check that out. I believe that's 8 p.m. or 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. approximately Pacific time for those of you tuning in from America. But that's going to be it here from us from the studios out here in Burbank, California. We will see you for Premier in a couple weeks.